streaming now.
Early voting has ended. Now we look ahead to Election Day tomorrow. What you have to know before you go to the polls.
Indiana saw historic early voting numbers. How many Hoosiers have already cast their ballot? We put it into perspective for you and find out what it means ahead of Election Day.
Some Hoosiers are still having problems with their absentee ballots. What you can do to make sure your vote counts.
I'll let you decide. Do we call it mild or warm? With the temperature trend ahead, I'll call it well above average.
Welcome into the news at 6 here on WRTV. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino, coming to you on the eve of Election Day. Early voting is over in Indiana. That ended at noon. So we now look ahead to Election Day tomorrow. Polls are open statewide from 6 a.m. local time to 6 p.m. local time. And we say local time because there are 2 time zones in Indiana. Most of the state, including everyone in our viewing area, is on Eastern time. However, portions of northern and southern Indiana are on Central time. So whichever time zone you and your family are in, poll times are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you need help getting to the polls, Indigo is offering free rides on Election Day. All Indigo fixed route and open door service will be fare free tomorrow from the start of service until 10 p.m.
Today, several last-minute early voting efforts were underway. We saw long lines at the City County building downtown, and there's a special drop-off location for absentee voters in Marion County right now. And that's where we find WRTV's Megan Sanctorum. Megan, tell us what's going on there tonight.
Well, Mark, this is the last chance that voters have to make their voice heard before Election Day. Take a look behind me. You can see U.S. Postal Service employees are out here. Now, this is the post office that is on Capitol and South Street downtown. They are collecting absentee ballots. And now this is for anybody who had an absentee ballot but didn't mail it in time and worried about their ballot making it to their county clerk's office by the deadline of noon tomorrow. Employees here will date stamp the ballot and then have it delivered overnight to the appropriate election board. This is the first year the USPS has ever done a drop-off event like this, and so far they've seen several dozen people come and drop their absentee ballot off. Now, other last-minute early voting efforts happened today over at the City County building. Here's what we saw there.
We didn't think this line was ever going to end.
Yeah, we kept trying to find the end of it, and it was wrapped inside of this, so it was a little crazy.
When the line to early vote in Marion County closed at noon today, Adrian Hartman and Dustin Weiss were the last 2 people to get in it.
I got giddy because I really thought we were not going to make it. We parked at like 3 minutes till, and we ran about 2 blocks to get here.
But not everyone was as lucky.
The line ended at noon.
Poll workers dropping these cones at the end of the line and turning numerous people away who showed up after 12 o'clock.
I think the only thing to do is to vote tomorrow between 6 and 6.
Walk up, she saw us get out the car. Walk up and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Voting's over at 12.
I feel so bad for them because I know probably tomorrow maybe they have things to do or have to work.
Hartman wanted to vote today because she'll be helping others cast their ballot tomorrow.
I'm working in a poll tomorrow, so I didn't know if I was going to get a chance.
So they took the day off, made it here just in time, and came prepared to wait.
We both have the day off, so we're ready.
We only put $3 in the parking meter, but just in case we get a ticket, I'll pay it. I don't care.
We figured 3 hours was enough, but we'll see. It's fine. We'll wait till
She's telling us 3.5.
Yeah, and they ended up waiting 3.5 hours. Now, hopefully, those heading out to the polls tomorrow on Election Day will not experience a wait time like that, as there will be 187 different polling locations throughout the county. Now, if you still have an absentee ballot, you can come out to this post office and drop it off here in person until 10 o'clock tonight. Marion County residents can come here between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then no matter what county you're in, another option is to always drop it off at your clerk's office before noon tomorrow. Reporting live, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Megan, thank you. And we've been telling you about the unprecedented early voting numbers we're seeing this election. But what does that mean for Election Day? WRTV's Stephanie Wade explains how this might impact when we see results.
With the record number of people voting early this election, whether by mail or in person, we are breaking down the numbers for you. According to the Secretary of State's office, over 1.75 million people have already voted in Indiana. majority of which were in person, whereas about 500,000 were by mail-in ballots. That's way more than half, 64% actually, of the total number of people who voted in the 2016 presidential election. Just in Marion County alone at this point in 2016, 67,000 people had voted early. Well, this year, more than 211,000 people have already cast their ballot. Here are the numbers of how many people have already voted in surrounding counties compared to their final 2016 vote count. Now the question is, with these huge early voting numbers, how will this impact when we know results? Well, each county clerk's office has to count their votes on their own, and they can't start counting until Election Day. The Marion County Clerk's Office tells me they only have the ability to count up to 40,000 absentee ballots per day. Well, so far, 82,000 ballots have been received, so that's at least 2 days alone here in Marion County. While experts say Indiana will know its winners fairly soon, it won't be until at least the next day. Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Well, if you are voting by mail, your completed ballot must be into your county's election office by noon tomorrow. It's too late to put your ballot in the mail now. You need to take it to the county election office in person and drop it off to make certain it's in on time.
Voters across central Indiana have experienced problems with absentee voting by mail, leading to confusion and frustration as the election draws near. WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny has been digging into those issues and how voters are still finding a way to cast their ballots.
Some voters never received their mail-in absentee ballots, even though they requested them back in September. Ellen Hodge and her husband didn't get theirs, so they ended up waiting 2 hours to vote early at Cranert Park.
And I'm immunosuppressed, so being in a long line with a lot of people is not the ideal way for me to vote.
Linda Stegner of Speedway never got her mail-in ballot either.
You shouldn't have to jump through hoops for this.
She's disabled but voted early in person on Thursday.
Because I want my vote to count, and if my candidate loses by 1 vote, I don't want it to be my vote.
It's still not clear what happened to their ballots. Marion County says they sent them, and the U.S. Postal Service says they have not had any widespread delays. As of Thursday, of the 94,000 ballots mailed, 75,000 have been returned in Marion County. That's more than 18,000 or 20% that have still not been returned. WRTV Investigates has uncovered other problems with absentee voting. Voters are getting conflicting information about whether they can change their mind on how to vote. Charlotte Hess of Bloomington requested an absentee ballot because she's over 65, but now she wants to vote early in person to make sure her ballot is counted in time.
It's a democracy. We want to defend that democracy.
She says the Monroe County Election Office told her she could not change her mind and vote early in person because she already had a mail-in ballot.
That's a problem.
Both the Monroe County Election Supervisor and clerk declined our request to speak on camera. But in an email, the election supervisor told us a voter cannot change their mind after they have a ballot sent to them. The Indiana Election Division and Secretary of State's office say a voter can vote in person if their original absentee ballot is lost, spoiled, or defective.
That is inconsistent with the Indiana election statute, and it's also inconsistent with past practice. As recently as June, there were voters who were allowed to change their mind, not use the mail-in ballot that they requested, and vote in person.
Here's what you can do. On Election Day itself, you can surrender your absentee ballot and vote in person. If you want to hand deliver your absentee ballot to your county, just remember it's due by noon on Election Day. And if you did not get a mail-in ballot, just show up on Election Day and poll workers will give you an affidavit to sign. Voters like Charlotte, Linda, and Ellen say they won't let hiccups stop them from voting, but they're worried it may discourage others. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
Monroe County, the Indiana Election Division and Secretary of State's office responded to WRTV by email, and you can read their full responses in this story on the WRTV app and our website, WRTV.com. If you have problems voting, the number for the Election Protection Hotline is 866-OUR-VOTE. The Lawyers Committee on Civil Rights under Law and Common Cause helps staff the hotline and can answer your questions.
The Indiana State Conference of the NAACP says voters in Delaware County are getting conflicting information. The NAACP wrote a letter on Friday to the Indiana Secretary of State asking the office to correct what they call misinformation. The NAACP says the state sent an October 9th letter to voters wrongly instructing people who received a mail-in ballot to contact the Secretary of State's office to verify their application. The NAACP also claims that the letter incorrectly instructs voters who received an unwanted absentee ballot to rip it in half and take it to their polling location if they wish to vote in person. The group is concerned it will dissuade black voters from going to the polls.
We can't let tactics, especially at the nth hour, intimidate us to stop us from voting, from casting our ballots, because that's been the history in this country for them not wanting people to vote, is the intimidation tactics and the misinformation.
The Indiana Secretary of State's office has declined our interview requests on this issue. The NAACP is encouraging anyone who has not cast their ballot yet to go to their polling location on Election Day. And if you have an absentee ballot, bring it with you.
Tomorrow on Election Day, there will be 187 polling locations in Marion County where you can cast your ballot. And in Marion County, you can vote at the location that's most convenient for you. You do not need to go to a specific polling place. One of those voting locations will be the Benjamin Harrison presidential site. That's downtown near North Talbot Street and East 13th Street. Poll workers were busy getting it all set up tonight ahead of its opening for voting at 6 tomorrow morning.
I think all indicators are that we'll have really strong voter turnout for this election. Certainly see numbers for early voting and absentee voting much higher than they've been over the past few election cycles. So we're excited with being able to serve as a voting center.
You need to bring a valid photo ID with you when you go to vote tomorrow. There will be parking available at and nearby the Benjamin Harrison presidential site, and it's also accessible via IndyGo. If you're looking for the place you can go vote tomorrow, go to WRTV.com/election2020 and you'll find a link to find a polling place.
Once again, polls open on Election Day. That's tomorrow at 6 a.m. local time statewide. They close at 6 p.m. local time. That is also statewide. A reminder, we have everything you need to know about the election at our website at WRTV.com. We go one-on-one with candidates who will appear on your ballot. Plus, we have the dates and deadlines you need to make sure your vote counts. That's at WRTV.com/election2020. Tomorrow, it's Election Day Live here at WRTV. We're looking at key races, analysis, and results as they come in. Look for us on the WRTV app on streaming devices such as Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. We will also provide you live results throughout the night here on WRTV with a complete wrap-up on the news at 11.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to claim lives every day in the state, and thousands of people test positive for coronavirus on a daily basis. Today, the Indiana Department of Health reports 3,080 additional COVID-19 cases. 185,185 Hoosiers have had the coronavirus since the pandemic began. Data from the Department of Health also shows 26 additional deaths in Indiana. In total so far, 4,150 people in the state have died with COVID-19. The state confirms 1,759 Hoosiers in the hospital, either with COVID-19 or symptoms that could develop into the coronavirus. That is the second highest number of COVID-related hospitalizations since the start of the pandemic. Back on April 13th, 1,799 people in Indiana were in the hospital in relation to the coronavirus. Well, finding a job during the pandemic is not always easy, but we are finding many open positions for you. Let's get to the Hiring Hoosiers job feed. A virtual career fair this week will help connect you to companies as the need for engineering, skilled, and advanced manufacturing workers grows in Hamilton County. On Thursday, the Hamilton County Workforce Recovery Task Force and Hamilton County Workforce Innovation Network will host the free virtual job fair. It's happening from 11 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. To register, just click on this story on hiringhoosiers.com. Covance, a drug development business in Indianapolis, needs kit production assistance. You will play a key role in getting the right medical supplies to the right patients. Pay is $15 an hour. Bradley Company has 2 open positions. They are looking for a maintenance technician for an apartment community in downtown Indianapolis, and they need a maintenance supervisor. Find more employment opportunities on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com. Kevin.
Amanda, warmer temperatures are just a state away to our west, when we can expect temperatures to climb to 70 degrees and above.
The Colts put up their highest point total of the season with their running backs leading the way for the offense. I'm Brad Brown with a look back at a Week 8 win with a 1-2 punch in the backfield. That story coming up on the News at 6.
Temperatures are warmer than 24 hours ago, not by a lot. It'll still be a cold night, but not as cold as this morning. It feels 7 degrees warmer in Lafayette and Muncie than it did at this time last night. Skies will stay clear as we go through the night. The biggest difference, the wind out of the southwest will keep temperatures from falling off too much. We'll still be in the low to mid 30s in many locations. It's 46 right now in Lafayette and Muncie, 40 in the metro area, 41 as you can see down in Columbus. Here are the metro temperatures from 42 in Edinburgh up to 43 in Zionsville. Plainfield at 44 degrees as well as Martinsville. A couple of headlines, not as cold tonight and definitely not as cold as we go through the rest of the work week for overnight lows. In fact, we've got several mornings that will be at 50 or above for overnight temperatures. Election day and perfect weather go together, and I'll show you that's not just a Hoosier state thing, but much of the country will have nice conditions for those that have to stand out in long lines. Next 7 days uneventful in our forecast. Temperatures tomorrow morning, again cold. If you're headed to the polls before going to work, you'll definitely need a heavier coat till the sunshine starts to take over and temperatures work their way into the low 60s. 62 the afternoon high. As we get to Wednesday, still lots of sunshine, a little warmer. Thursday, I think we'll have mostly cloudy skies in the morning and then pick up some sunshine later in the day. Let me just show you, this is tomorrow's national map, and we start at 7 a.m. and go through 7 p.m. You've got some rain in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, Oregon, otherwise off the New England coast. Other than that, we're uneventfully quiet across the entire country, so that's good news. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. We'll get used to that this week. Temperature by noon at 55, your afternoon high 62. Temperatures across all of central Indiana above the average high of 59 for this time of year. The wind picks up Wednesday. With that stronger southwest wind, we'll gain momentum to our warming trend. And as you look at the 7-day forecast, temperature by Friday at 68, then we'll put 3 in a row together, I think. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures 70 degrees or above. That's still a dry stretch. And the overnight lows that were as cold as 23 this morning in Terre Haute will be as warm as the mid-50s by early next week. Mark?
Kevin, thank you. The most impressive play from Sunday's Colts game may have come after a couple of their touchdowns. Nonetheless, a big win that leads into an even bigger matchup coming up this Sunday. Brad Brown has a look at how the Colts are trending in the right direction.
While we all flipped the calendar to November, the Colts tumbled their way into a big win in Detroit, with running back Nyheim Hines leading the charge.
I've seen him do that a number of times, so I don't have any problem with it. We like our guys showing emotion when they're celebrating. They got to do their thing. So I trust Nyheim to display his emotions the way he feels, the way he wants to.
Hines' backflip after his first touchdown lit up social media. It also lit up the Colts offense to the tune of 20 points in the second quarter.
Unbelievable athlete, obviously what he does in the kicking game and as a runner and a receiver. So certainly glad he's on our side.
Nyheim got a second chance to stick the landing with another long TD toss from Phillip Rivers. Dynamic plays like that are becoming more of a regular thing.
Running the ball, it's important, and I think we did a decent job today. And Frank kept calling it even when things weren't going well. And then we started hitting some big plays.
Hines has a strong running buddy in the backfield as well. Jordan Wilkins ran for 89 yards Sunday in Detroit, more than the previous 6 games combined. His touchdown and 2-point conversion padded the Colts' fourth quarter lead.
Being in the same team for a couple years now, obviously, especially in the same room, you're going to grow a lot of chemistry and go close to each other. Obviously, we came in at the same class, so I mean, we knew each other at the combine a little bit, and just coming in working each and every day.
Yeah, you can't count the plays; you have to make them count. And as long as you keep doing that, hopefully you'll keep a job. And Jordan made the most of those opportunities today. I like to think I did that too, but we're not perfect. We had some plays where we can get better on, and obviously we're going to take the coaching. It was a great game, but we got to get better and get ready for our next game.
Then there's the continued evolution of the Colts passing game. Phillip Rivers completed 23 passes in Detroit, but he hit 11 different receivers. The Indy offense is becoming more difficult to plan for as each week passes.
Sometimes they come up just how you call them, and then other times they don't, and you end up getting to the third, fourth, fifth guy. But when they do their job and the guys up front protect, it allows for that ball to kind of go anywhere. And I do think that makes it tougher for the defense to favor, one guy or double one guy.
We have a great group of guys that love working together, so the camaraderie between all of us is great. And we just love to work, and we think we're hitting our stride to, at the right time, but we still haven't, put a full 60-minute game together yet, so we're working on doing that.
The Colts normally have Monday as their mandated day off during the week. Head coach Frank Reich has moved that to Tuesday this week for Election Day. The Colts and the NFL have been promoting Get Out the Vote campaigns. Before the next home game, Lucas Oil Stadium will serve as the largest polling site in Marion County. As for that next game, it's the Colts and the Ravens, both teams with 5-2 records, coming up on Sunday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
And there's more of this in the forecast. Lots of sunshine during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will respond to that and climb into the low 60s for the afternoon high with a southwest wind. Enjoy.
Well, thank you for making WRTV your choice for news.
World News Tonight with David Muir is up next here on WRTV, and then we'll see you back here for the news at 7.